live, it kept telling me to rotate some shit. So I don't know what it meant rotating, but nevertheless, I'm here on this hot spring April TNA Impact review tonight. April 2024, 2025. Let's talk about it. Let me edit. Since it wouldn't let me do that before I got on live, again, it was acting very weird. Would not let me go on for 10 minutes without me rotating something. I don't know what it wanted me to rotate. Won't let me add a description. Let's see now if I can do it. Very weird, very weird. Weird things are happening on YouTube. So now, while I edit it so I can get at least people a description of this video, um, what I do want to say, some things that caught up to me, that stood out to me, would be Joe Hendry not getting the win. Him not getting the win. He is not the one that got the win. It was more Elias. That was very surprising. That Joe Hendry, the actual TNA champion, even though he had a bad arm, uh, still thought he was gonna get the win. So that was very surprising. The Hardy Boys, that was nice. Um, I think we saw the kids. That was nice seeing the kids. It's not. I'm not a huge Hardy Boy fan to the point I know their kids and what they look like. That I know their names, but I do think that their kids were in this, especially Matt kids. So it was nice seeing them. I think we did see them before on TNA TV, but it was nice seeing them. It was nice seeing them. JC did shine to me. She did shine to me tonight. I did think the guy that was in the red during that intervention or whatever, that group therapy with Sin Santana or what's his name? Mike Santana. I thought that was Ace Austin with the afro and the red shorts, but I guess it wasn't him. They really didn't show who that was, but I guess it wasn't him. I was just like, why is he in this segment? I was a little confused. Okay, so let me get to the side by side show. With everything right now, you know how I like to do here. Hey, for those that's watching the replay, I know a lot of you guys love WWE, but hey, this is TNA Impact we're talking about. A lot of people don't talk about TNA Impact. So if you're watching the replay, you should check out TNA Impact sometimes. AEW is good as well. WWE, of course, I love it. Grew up with it, still do love it. MLW. But tonight is about TNA Impact. Hopefully, they don't get bought by WWE. We saw multiple times that they showed Joe Henry going to the WrestleMania against Randy Orton. And that being said, they are very, I don't know, they look a little desperate when they do that, when they keep showing Joe Hendry in WrestleMania, or they just keep talking about, keep talking about it, keep talking about it, him keeping NXT. It's kind of like, okay, we get it. He's doing a lot of good things in WWE, but can we please focus on TNA, the show we're watching? I knew they were going to incorporate that. What I mean usually isn't TNA Impact taped prior. So either TNA and WWE are making plans months ahead where they're able to do this pre-tape where they already know that Joe was going to be in the was going to be at WrestleMania, but I think it was like a last minute thing. Or they're taping during the week and incorporating the WWE stuff. But I do know that TNA Impact is not live, so I'm just wondering how they are talking about what happened, even though it happened this weekend, and they probably more than likely taped the show before WrestleMania even happened. So I'm just a little confused. Hey, I'm good. Talking about TNA Impact. Nice seeing you. How are you? Do you watch TNA? But let's talk about it real fast. This was okay. You may know some people. You may know some people like Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth was on the show with the Hardys. That was something. If you like that movie type, cinematic kind of stuff, this is for you. What happened? But let's talk about Moose and JDC with Miss Edwards. The I have something to say. Isn't that her little catchphrase versus Trey Miguel and Ace Austin? Let me say this from the jump. This is very weird how Ace Austin and Chris Bay, Team ABC, their biggest feud was against the Rascals at one point, and they had feuds that went on for months, even years. I get the respect level. We've been fighting each other for months, for years, hell. But this sudden partnership with Trey Miguel and Ace Austin storyline really doesn't make sense. I get that his partner, Chris Bay, is injured. Wishing him the best. Don't know if he'll wrestle again, but glad to see that Chris Bay is walking. But again, this doesn't make any sense how Ace Austin and Chris Bay, this was one of their biggest rivals when you're thinking about the ABC and tag team. So to see Ace Austin teaming up with the Rascals all the time now, it really doesn't make sense. Especially if you are a ABC kind of fan and you know that there was a huge rivalry between the two teams, the Rascals and Team ABC, just for Ace Austin just to keep tagging with Trey Miguel and Zachary. But they were in a tag team match, nevertheless. And oh, okay. So you know some people. Well, yes, TNA. Hello, guys that's watching. It's not who may be not speaking. TNA Impact. If you like it, let me know. But yeah, right now we were talking about Trey Miguel and Ace Austin versus Moose and JDC. Again, this is a makeshift team. What I mean by that is they're two separate tag teams that are just tagging together um, to be on one accord. I guess you can say that. But they did not win. Moose and JDC defeated them. Um, Masha, she's getting a lot of camera time. She was seen here backstage with Tommy Dreamer, and we also saw her at the end of the women's match. So she got some camera time, the TNA Knockout Champion. I did like that little backstage segment between Tommy Dreamer and Masa Slamovich, your TNA Knockout Champion, getting a pep talk. Basically, you can do it. Mm, let's see. Speaking of women, we did see Heather by Elegance was backstage, just talking with the personal concierge, and she's talking to Ash by Elegance on FaceTime. So I don't know if Ash by Elegance, I don't know what was going on with her, but she wasn't really there in person. Uh, we do have JC Jane versus Rosemary. Rosemary is like a TNA original at this point. If you know TNA or if you watch TNA or you think about TNA, you think about women, you think about Rosemary. She has been there for multiple generations of TNA. What I mean, there has been a lot of rebranding of TNA, a lot of different managements, a lot of different vibes. TNA has had multiple changes, but within all those changes, we have Rosemary that has been there for at least almost a decade at this point. But she, the TNA homegrown star, you can call her at this point, was facing JC Jane. I did like this. JC Jane did win. I did like her and that Total Influence, isn't that their name? I don't really watch NXT. I'll be honest with you. It's just too much for me. I watch Monday Night Raw, NXT sometimes, Wednesday AEW, Thursday TNA, Fridays SmackDown. So NXT is at one show, or on Tuesdays I just try not to watch it completely. I will maybe glimpse at it and watch 30 minutes or do something else and watch in between doing other stuff. But that's that one night I just can't watch wrestling Monday through Saturday, especially with Collision. It's every day at this point. But that being said, I really, JC Jane, I've seen her a handful of times. I do remember her with Toxic Attraction, I think with Mandy Rose. So I know her from that time. I was watching NXT on a regular basis. But her versus Rosemary, I see maybe now they're giving her this leader role in this group. It was at one point where they gave the other girl, was her Fallon, the NXT North American Championship, which again could have been for JC Jane, considering she was part of Total Attraction, which is basically a spinoff of that group or a continuation with her being the leader now. But what do I have to say about this match? JC Jane looked like a star. I did like her entrance. I like that little booty shake. Kicking her legs with her shades on reminds me of Tomb Raider Laura Croft. She gives me that vibe. So I do like her in TNA. Still love in 2011, my memoirs and Saw Sinners. Hey, that's good to hear. I'm actually going this weekend. A coworker wanted to go there for her birthday, so that is where I am taking her to the movies to see it with um who is it? What's his name? Jordan, right? Jason B. Jordan. Okay, so let's continue talking about TNA and hope all is well, Sharon. And thank you, Anthony. I hope all is well with you too. And please like if you can, that helps anybody that's watching. The Nemeth brothers, I guess they were in the Hardy compound stealing the tag team titles, but then watching a movie, which was the little kids beating up one of the brothers, not Nick, who's the other brother, Ryan. He was getting his ass beat, but at the same time he was watching the movie with the Hardy younger ones. Then at the same time he was under the pool dead. So it was a lot going on. If you like that kind of stuff, it kind of was like an action film, just continuing. Even there was some point I heard some music, some rap music that was mainstream. Wasn't it a Kendrick Lamar? They not like us. I think I heard that at one point during the Hardy Compound segment. The Hardy Compound segment lasted a long time. Good segment, good visuals. You can appreciate it when you don't get it that often. So this did not bother me because we don't see this often. Um, at the end of the day, it was the Hardy Boys on top, proving that they will be the ones that will remain champs and remain the most relevant tag team in wrestling, especially brother wise. We did have Trey Miguel. He did call Sean Waltman. If you don't know, Ace Austin and Trey, I guess they are BFFs in storyline. So I guess Ace Austin was like, I can't call Chris because you know what? And then I guess Trey was like, I can't call Zachary because you know what? So then we had Trey, and he said he's going to call the reinforcements. And then he ended up calling Sean Waltman, who is Xbox. So that'll be nice. I thought he was part of a WWE Legend deal, so a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that he would answer the call, but I can't really keep up with these contracts. I really don't try to keep up with these contracts, but I did thought he had a WWE contract. Legend. And we did have Missy Kate versus Tessa. I guess allegedly Kate has been here plenty of times, so good for her. I don't know why they're not signing her. But we had her versus Tessa Blanchard, and Tessa Blanchard did get the win. Kind of obvious who's going to win when you give one girl entrance, you give the other girl a jobber entrance, and introduce her after the one lady makes her entrance. It's kind of like, okay, we kind of don't believe the girl who's in the ring's gonna win because you guys treated her like an afterthought. What I mean by that is she was already in the ring when Tessa was making her entrance. She didn't get her solo entrance. And when Tessa had her own solo entrance. And once Tessa got in the ring and they already introduced Tessa, they did now say, oh, and introducing Missy. It's like, really? It's like giving afterthought at this point. So we knew she was going to win. So she did lose indeed, because again, they treated her how she was going to be booked, like an afterthought. So she did lose. Unfortunately, she got unfortunately, she didn't get that much offense in, but she did look okay during the match. So maybe one day she'll get signed. And right now, this is her trial to see if she can hack in with TNA, and they're just trying to test her out a little bit by having her face some of the established women on the roster. But Tessa Blanchard did end up getting the win. Oh, okay, Thunderbolts. Who's in that one? We had Melkin and Eric Young, the international championship, talking about that. It is a nice looking belt, I will say that. I don't think I remember the last time we had a blue looking belt. I don't know. Was that maybe the cruiserweight championship that kind of looked like that back in the day when there was Enzo Amare? Is that the last time we had a colorful belt? I don't know, but I don't remember a blue. You know what? I'm lying. I think the last time we saw a blue belt in WWE was when they had the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which was blue. So, but this belt looks lovely. I can't wait to see who wins. Championship match for it. That belt is very beautiful. I do like it. And hopefully the lineage will mean something one day. Okay. We did have Joe Hendry and Elijah versus Frankie Kazaro and Ethan Page. This was the main event. What I don't like about this is the ending is the heels can never be on one accord. They always have to turn against each other, and that kind of gets boring. The turning against each other shenanigans. It's kind of like, why did you even agree to tag, or why did you even come out if you were just going to leave? What I mean, Joe was injured. They did talk about the Randy Orton WrestleMania match and how he also was in the Royal Rumble and how he also main evented the first TNA person to main event a WWE NXT event. So again, here I'm talking about how they keep referencing WWE on commentary and the video packages to the point it wouldn't even surprise me if they got bought out by WWE one day. They just bought Triple A. Um, TNA is always mentioning WWE. WWE is very comfortable with mentioning TNA, almost to the point because they know that sooner than later that their library, which would be worth a lot of money at this point, all the history from TNA, imagine AJ Styles, Samoan Joe, um, the beautiful people. Imagine all the people that worked and in TNA, like Austin Creeds, who is now known as Xavier Woods. Imagine how that would work if they had the rights or if they bought TNA and they owned the library. That would help with the WWE and their current roster if they wanted to show flashbacks, but that won't help TNA, the company, if it's a WWE product. So I'm just a little lenient when they keep mentioning WWE all the time in TNA. It's almost like, okay, you guys are still your own identity. You're still your own promotion. So talk about TNA. Um, Ethan, again, I guess he's someone, yes, again, he is someone from NXT. Again, a lot of NXT involvement in the show, such as the JC Jane and the Ethan Page. Again, you have to watch NXT now. Nowadays, you have to watch NXT to keep up with TNA. Because if you don't watch, you won't know about this NXT people that are currently on TNA. So it's now a requirement to watch NXT if you're a TNA fan. But the tab match, Elijah got the win. What happened? Ethan left his partner, Frankie, he left him for the dead, and he got the 1, 2, 3. Again, Joe Hendry was injured, so he wasn't the one that got the finisher done. He was the one that tagged in, and that's when Elijah did all the leg work towards the end. But Joe did get some offense. It wasn't like he was useless in the match, but he was a little off today. But TNA Impact, what I'll give it is a 7.8 out of 10. Could be a little bit better. Could have been a little bit better. Ace Austin. I wish my final thoughts. I wish they would give him a solo push instead of pairing him up with random tag teams that he used to face and have feuds with. It doesn't make sense. Maybe less NXT people showing up. I mean, good for JC. I do like her in NXT, and I did like Cora Jade. No, I'm sorry. I did like Cora Jade in TNA, and I do like JC in TNA. And they get a little bit more shine when they're in TNA, but less involvement with them altogether, just like with the Ethan being the NXT superstar part of the TNA main event. I just wish we would have less of that. But I do like the partnership where they do have some storylines and crossovers, and it feels special at times, but not all the time, where we have to watch both shows to keep up. But 7.7 TNA Impact, those are my thoughts. A little quick review. On TNA Impact, Tessa looked good. Maybe we'll see her and Masha steal the show. Rebellion is this weekend, y'all. Let's talk about that real fast. Okay, so we have TNA Rebellion, which is going to be April 27th, which April 27th is in 3 days. So that's on Sunday, right? Today's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's Sunday. So it's going to be Sunday. Give me 1 second. I just want to look at the current card. Uh, it's a lot. Seriously, I guess I gotta go on social media to find the current card because the news sites or the websites don't have it. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find the results. No, I'm trying to find the card for TNA Rebellion so we can just talk, not just say what's going to be on TNA Rebellion, but of course it's really hard to find at this point. Ugh. Okay, so it is on Sunday. Damn, do I really have to go on like Blue Sky or X to see like the card and like hope that somebody posts a picture of it instead of an actual wrestling box site tweeting about it? Okay, I guess I actually have to go on X to see. So we have Frankie Casario versus Joe Hendry versus Ethan. I think Joe Hendry is going to retain. He should. Again, this Sunday we do have Steve McLean versus Eric Young. I just told you how they were talking for that TNA International Championship. I think Steve's going to retain since he is the first one, and I think this is his first or second um, defense. So clearly he's going to retain. Masha versus Tessa. I think Tessa's going to surprise everyone and win. It's going to be controversy. We do have Ash by Elegance and Heather versus Lash Legend Shakira versus Spitfire versus Gigi and Tatum for those TNA Knockout Tag Team Championships. I think Heather and Ash by Elegance will retain. This is like what only their third one. Defense, we have Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali. I think Mike Santana will win. He's the star in the making. I did keep saying this. He's always going to be the backup, or after Joe Hendry, he's going to be the main guy. But I do feel like if Joe Hendry gets injured, he is going to be the one that will be the next big baby face. Or once he moves on to WWE eventually, if that's what he does, we're going to have Mike Santana, who they already are building up as a baby face. And they continue to do this. Right now, he can be heel, he can be babyface, but you can tell they're putting a lot of investment and time into him. So the crowd and the TNA universe can be used to him. We have the Hardys versus Nick and Ryan, the Nemeth brothers. I think the Hardys will retain. And then we have Walk with Elijah. Open challenge. So TNA Rebellion, this was the show before it. Again, the 7.7 out of 10. That's a C plus. So some things excite me, some things I was wishing more. But this is your TNA Impact review for April 24th, 2025. This is Markel's World. All things pro wrestling news my life. Please like this video. Sub if you have not. TNA Impact review. I post at least 3 times a week, and I do a live once a week. Soon again, I'm going to Germany in 2 weeks, so I will be on vacation and may do a live here and there if I can, or do reviews and just upload them. But I will post at least 3 times a week as usual while overseas. But 7.7 out of 10. TNA Rebellion, the match of the night maybe will be Tessa versus Masha, or it'll be that triple threat for that TNA championship. That's what I predict. But again, this is Markel's World. All things pro wrestling news in my life. This is your review of TNA Impact, April 24th, 2025. I'll see you guys on the next video, YouTube. Peace.